I was just sitting here peacefully enjoying the music and getting into the vibe of receptivity and just allowing myself to be used. One of the thoughts that I had um, as I was waiting for 8 o'clock to roll around is just how beautiful it is to be a part of our collective intention to expand and to transcend limitation. I feel so honored to be a part of this intention, you know? It's just a beautiful journey for all of us, and I cannot wait to share this message with you all. So let's first start by collecting our beautiful energies here in this moment. Hopefully everyone can see and hear. I figured if you can't see and hear, hey, Stephanie, thank you. Smoking. I'm assuming everyone can see and hear. So I'm just gonna bring our energies together here. I'm already feeling spirit. I'm already feeling expansion or impending expansion. I'm feeling it all. So let's just join our energies together here in this collective room, collective space. Everybody take a deep breath. And another. And another. And on that last breath, just release everything that you may have been holding on to, anything that does not serve you, and just be fully present for this experience here this evening. And as we tune into our higher selves, the non-physical beings that are ever present with us, as they are here today to continue to guide, to continue to enlighten, to continue to help us return to our true selves. We say yes to this experience of transcending our intended mastery of limitation so that we can move into limitlessness. We say yes to the clarity that is going to unfold through this transmission and this message this evening. We say yes to the unfolding of whatever else wants to happen here through the Q&A that follows the message. We say yes to collective expansion. We say yes to individual expansion in all that is here for us this evening. And with that, we say, so it is. So it is. All right, I'm going to dive right into the message. And then what I'll do is anyone who has questions about the message itself, let's have those hands raised first. And if not, we'll go right into Q&A. I do have 2 questions from Anne. One multi-part question from Rachel. I don't know if she's here, but if she's here, well, I always want to check in with everyone to see if you still want this question to be answered, because some of you sit with things and then you go, no, I'm good after a while. So I'll check in with each of you. Anne had a couple of good questions that I really wanted to highlight here today and revisit here today. So I think I'll definitely do that. So first, my whole body is lit right now, like completely lit. This message, as you guys know, I always say this, I never know what message wants to come through. I never know what I'm going to be sharing when we get to our topical event. And I never really look for it or ask for it. I don't even ask, you know. There are times when I may say, is there anything you guys want to share here? And the answer is whatever wants to be shared will be shared. So I never worry about what is going to happen, even though Friday was coming and I had no message to share with you guys. Nothing was feeling, I can feel the strength of the energy behind the message that wants to be shared. And if I don't feel that, I'm just going to show up and say, I didn't receive anything. So what do you guys want to talk about? I'm prepared to do that anytime because I know that I'm just here doing what I'm here to do. Last night, I was up until about 1 o'clock in the morning, which has been typical for me in the last few weeks. And as I was drifting off to sleep on my pillow, like literally, I was already drifting off to sleep at about 1:10 a.m. Instantly, I knew message wants to come through now. And I think that's not unusual. I think when we have released all of our humanness, it's right when we're drifting off to sleep or just when we're awakening in the morning. And I think spirit sees that as a clear freeway to send messages through, you know. We have far less resistance during that time. So I think that's probably why I most often receive messages just upon waking or just before I drift off to sleep. And so this message rolled in. So I sat up in bed and was taking dictation through it all. So I'm just going to read it for you all today. And then I'll ask if anyone has any specific questions on the message, and then I'll move right into our open Q&A. All right, here we go. And I'll read the summary first, and then I'll go into the message. Drink a little bit of water. I hope you guys are not hearing Milo. He's on my chair here, eating his paws. He's looking at me like, why are you talking about me? Okay. This is a message on your soul's intention to experience limitation, the purpose behind that intention, and perhaps the easiest pathway to transcend the limitation and tap into your limitless possibility. Particularly your experiences of perceived challenges, when you are seeking solutions, and also when you feel ready to exit the iteration of experiences you do not prefer. In the video that I had put out on YouTube, was a snippet of the Q&A that we had, and I titled it Money Worries, My Own Personal Experiences. One of the statements that I made in there, I'm actually going to do a follow-up to that video, part 2, Money Worries, the vibrational journey. I'm going to actually record that maybe after tonight's event. But one of the things that I shared in there when Rachel and I were having that conversation was I began to no longer see the events of my life as something to be solved. And I don't know that folks that listened to that or watched that video understood what I meant. What I meant by that was, as challenge in the past, as challenges were arising, my focus was on how will this be resolved? And how can I solve this? Or how can I find a solution to this? And my bent was more toward the solution of the thing that is arising as challenging, or the solution to the thing that's arising as troublesome or confusing or whatever. And I got to this place in my journey where the solution was not nearly as interesting as the more expanded awareness that was coming out of it. And so as the challenge arose and as the intense emotion arose, I found myself moving into more of a focus on, aha, this is here in service to me. I wonder what arena of expansion is about to unfold. I wonder what this is going to blossom within my awakening journey. And the need for a solution began to diminish. Not that I wouldn't want a solution, but the focus on the solution for this physical experience, and not bodily physical, I mean the physical, human experience. The need for a solution started and began to feel less and less of an intense need. And I moved into, okay, here I am experiencing this, and it must be here for me to experience more awareness, more expansion, more growth. And so my wanderings drifted away from, and I wonder what solution is going to come about. And I wonder what I'm supposed to do here. And I wonder how I'm going to come up with a solution. And I wonder, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And the mental gymnastics that was heavily focused on a solution, I found in my experience began to lessen and become very much muted. And while the challenge was taking place, because of the expanded awareness that I'm experiencing, my reaction was more in the direction of the expanded awareness than the possibility and the probability of a solution. And so that's what I meant in that conversation with Rachel, where I said, I sort of stopped seeing the events of my life to be solved, because my attention shifts more in the direction of the greater awareness that is sure to come as a result of it. And so I found myself, instead of being in conversation with spirit about, what am I going to do about this? Can you help me find a solution? I was more in conversation with spirit about, this is interesting that I feel so attached to this particular thing. What is my opportunity for expansion here? And how does letting go of this thing make itself known? And how does the letting go of this thing happen for me? Rather than, oh, I'm attached to this thing, how do I solve it? And I could see the opportunity for letting go in the challenge or in the thing that's arising. And so I just find in my life today that there's less and less focus on the resolution of problems. It's like the problems are here. There'll always be a problem, right? There'll always be a challenge. Even if this challenge currently before me were to be resolved, another challenge will present itself. And so less and less am I interested. I use that word somewhat cautiously, because it's not like I don't want resolution and I don't want answers and I don't want solutions. It's not that. It's just that the weight of the desire for a solution started to get lighter and lighter. And there's far more of an interest in, wow, I wonder how I'm supposed to expand through this. And that wondering and curiosity has been given more emphasis in the presence of a challenge than the emphasis on, what is it I'm supposed to do here to solve this issue, So that's what I meant when I said that in that video. I just saying, I just felt that shift from problem solution to growth and expansion. Yeah. Stephanie's saying, so there was a shift in focus from problem solving to the curiosity of the experience. Yes. And more than the curiosity of the experience, I was curious about the expansion potential within it. And that felt more interesting to me than the humanly focused resolution of the problem. Because more and more, I'm aware that I'm here for expansion. And yes, resolution of problems is part of the experience here, but I began to shift into the problems will resolve themselves eventually. They always do, don't they? Like there isn't a single thing that we have experienced that doesn't move into some degree of resolution. So in my acceptance of that, I created more space for personal expansion, the evolution of my experience here, and just accepted that whatever is arising will get resolved at some point. I don't have to put so much emphasis and so much focus on that because it'll get resolved. And so I lost a degree of interest in that because I sort of felt like it's a given that it will resolve itself in one way, shape, or form. An answer will come, a solution will come, something will happen there. But what's next for my own personal expansion and awareness? That I'm not so sure about. I'm certain that expansion is coming, but I'm curious to know in what flavor is it going to arrive as a result of this thing, So that's kind of what happened there. Rachel saying, I get it. That's good. Going to marinate on this more this week. Yeah. And said, when we enter into perspective of spirit, we release the resistance, yes, and enter into a higher vibration of allowing and into the space of limitlessness. Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely, yes.
And as we close, I just wanted to remind you to always take only that which resonates. Because your higher self, your inner being, your soul, your spirit knows what is relevant for your unique personal journey at this point in time. And it's always wise to check in with your heart to see what genuinely resonates and move forward with only that. And know that you are always free to fully trust your inner guidance above any external guidance you may receive. See you soon.